All right, guys, back here on Southeastern 14 with Max Barr. We continue looking at all the transfers in SEC basketball. And, yep, we're back to Kentucky because Kentucky and Arkansas are just the two that we've had a lot to do this week and still have many players left to go on those two teams, actually, that we need to catch up on.
We're still
But
catching up.
yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, so we are on to Kerr Kriisa. He is next up on our list. And before we tell you about what he's going to bring to the table, for Mark Pope and Company, Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports this season: MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoff stats. Plus, they have all the latest news, scores to follow your favorite teams, and you get the latest odds and lines, including team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head over to their website today or use the mobile device to get on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, Max. Kerr Kriisa, of course, started his career at Arizona, West Virginia last year. Averaged 11 points per game, almost 5 assists per game. And, a guy that I think, looking at the skill set, someone who can certainly shoot the ball and, someone who has pretty good floor awareness. I think it's safe to say, given the assist accolades that he has over the past several seasons, especially when you look back at what he did at Arizona, but really 4.7 assists, 5.1 assists, 4.7 assists. Like those are his 3-year totals over the past 3 years, or his averages. So, yeah, I think, you kind of know what you're getting here. A guy who can shoot the rock and also a guy who's going to be able to have the ball in his hands quite a bit and make plays for others.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I like it a lot more after digging into it than I did off first initial reaction. But what I want to start with here, we're gonna switch things up here, Blake. I got a video to show you. It's gonna set the tone here. It's gonna set the tone for what Kerr Kriisa is gonna bring to Kentucky here. So Kerr Kriisa from Estonia and Luka Doncic. What is he? Slovenia, I think. Watch this. They played each other in the FIBA. Watch this little clip here. Foul on Luka Doncic. Who's number 44 over there going and gonna get in Luka Doncic's face? What? Oh yeah. Not in my house. Not in my house. You're not doing that in my house, Luka. Look at Kerr Kriisa getting right in Luka Doncic's face. Oh, that is toughness. He ain't afraid of no one. That's confidence. That's how we're starting this video out. That's who you're getting right there. You want a classic. You love to have him on your team. You hate to play against him. Kerr Kriisa, coming to BBN.
A little swagger.
Yeah.
I always like that in our guys. A little toughness, like you said. Don't back down. Yeah, I mean, look, this guy started 31 of 33 games in 22, 34 of 35 games in 23, started 23 games last year. So every game he played in last year, he started. And so it's like, I mean, this guy's played a lot of minutes, and we've said, I mean, if you look at the theme for this Kentucky team, they've got experience, and I think that's something that definitely continues to stand out, is that Mark Pope is building a team where it is just experience, and it's going to look so different because they're just not used to that with Kentucky. We're having a team that's just loaded with guys who played as many minutes, and of course he has done that. And like we said, you can just kind of look at the numbers and the things that he's accomplished. I mean, it's, there's not a whole lot of mystery as to what what role he's going to play on this team. And we talked about kind of the style that they're going to play too. It seems to really fit into the way he wants to play. Remember, he started at Arizona, Tommy Lloyd. They were getting up and down the floor there at Arizona. And so kind of expect some of the same things here with Mark Pope with this particular team at Kentucky.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting about that is you just look at the BYU team last year that Pope coached, and their point guard was Dallin Hall, but he really didn't act as a true point guard. You don't in Pope's system, you don't really, a lot of it's actually played through the big at the top of the key and all that zoom screening action, continuity, all that. You don't really play like traditionally through one point guard. That's why I think Kerr Kriisa can fit so well next to Lamont Butler. You got two guys that can start the break, two guys that can bring the ball up, have completely different contrasting styles. One's defensive player of the year. One has been top 7 in his conference in assist rate for 3 straight years, creates for others, knockdown shooter. I really like how they complement each other. So let's dive into the numbers a little bit. How does Kerr Kriisa score? How does he score? Well, this is his 3-pointers average for the last 3 years. He's made 2.4 per game, 2.4, and then 2.7. He's a knockdown shooter. Like, say what you want about Kerr Kriisa. He's a knockdown shooter. Some synergy numbers. I got it from Brandon Ramsey. Does a great breakdown for all the Kentucky guys. So Kriisa took 58 3-pointers off the dribble and shot just under 40% on those. But on catch and shoot threes, which is he had a little bit of a larger sample size. He took 84 shots catch and shoot last year and made 42 of them 50%. Okay, so he can come off the dribble and create for himself, a little bit of shiftiness, quick, but he can also do, a classic spot up catch and shoot. He'll knock it down, and he'll create for others also. A little bit of a high turnover rate, but maybe in Pope's system, he's not forced to create that much all on his own. You can see that turnover rate go down maybe. I think he's going to fit great in this offense, Blake.
That's where having Lamont Butler helps, I think. And, of course, we've already done a video on him. But I think, my thing is, if you just look at the stats, like, there's no mystery as to what this guy's going to do. And I think that's what's interesting. I mean, we can look at all 4 of his seasons so far in college. First year, 2021, all 14 of his made field goals were from 3. So, he made 14 field goals that year. They were all 3-pointers. And only took 4 2-pointers that year. 42 field goal attempts, 38 3-point attempts. 21-22, he took 287 shots, 238 of them were threes. So 80 of his 100 made field goals that year were from 3.
Yep.
23, took 293 field goals. So, a little bit more now, actually. 293, 227 of them were threes. 83 of his 109 made field goals were from 3. And then last year, took 189 shots, 144 of those were 3-point attempts. 61 of his 81 makes last year were from 3. So, as we said, I mean, we talked about Kobe Bryant in the most recent video, and I'm like, we're talking about a guy who we think could put up 23s a game. And then we're going to add another guy to the mix here that is probably going to do most of his damage from 3. And so that's a nice combination, I think, on the perimeter for Kentucky here, because you do have multiple threats for being able to knock down shots. And remember, like we said, from last year, that was one of the ways they excelled, is they had multiple guys who could step out and knock down shots from the perimeter. Had multiple guards who could do that. And so, not saying you're going to compare them to Reed Shepherd, Antonio Reeves, but these are 2 guys though that are going to specialize in making shots from the perimeter.
Yeah, and you kind of start to the roster's starting to come together. We still got a lot to go, but we're starting to get a little bit of a picture at what we're working with. I mean, just think of a lineup where Kerr Kriisa, Kobe Bryant, and Andrew Carr are all on the floor at the same time. You've got Carr at the 4 space in the floor. You can't give Bryant or Kriisa an inch, and if you do give them an inch and you got a late closeout, they're going to fly by, and now there goes the Pope offense, ball movement, continuity, all that. This could be a very dangerous offensive lineup. Like, it came together quick with Brea and Kriisa. Just like, I feel like 3 days ago we were saying, like, all right, this is new. We got experience, we got defense, but this is going to be a new look Kentucky team. Well, you just added 2 of the most efficient high volume shooters in the country. As bad as West Virginia was as a team, you got to look back and what they were working with. It was the whole coaching change and then the 2-time transfer. They had a few guys not playing in the beginning of the year that came in and were high volume guys. It was a mess. Didn't really affect Kerr Kriisa individually, though. He had his best shooting year. He had his best assist year. I feel like he kind of flew under the radar last year. I'm telling you, the more and more I look into Kriisa, I like how he fits in with the other pieces, especially next to Butler.
Well, we can leave you with this. Here's what Mark Pope had to say about Kriisa. You're gonna hit on some points here.
What do you got?
So it's funny because we've mentioned a couple of these, and you're gonna get excited about one of them. So he said, Kerr Kriisa is one of the best shooters in the country. I feel like I've been recruiting him for the last 5 or 6 years since he was a prep player. He's one of the most experienced guards in all of college basketball, played on some great Arizona teams. Then last year in the hallowed halls of West Virginia, he has a competitive spirit that overflows in every way conceivable. We've already seen highlights of that. He'll have a massive impact on our team in the locker room. Kentucky fans are going to love his bold personality.
Yes.
There you go. your guy, Kerr Kriisa. So this is
Yeah.
your guy.
Yeah. I mean, you love to have that. That's what you need. That's why I feel like I heard that also. I heard that Mark Pope was like recruiting him at BYU also, and he's wanted him for a few years. That personality, that little bit of swagger, that toughness, man, that's right up my alley.
All right. Well, Kerr Kriisa jersey coming to a screen near you soon because Max will probably be wearing that at some point. If not, Kentucky fans, send him one. Send him a jersey for Kerr Kriisa. But we appreciate you guys watching. Yeah, appreciate you guys watching as always. Hit that subscribe button. Check out all the other videos we've done on SEC basketball transfers. Again, we've still got some to catch up on with Kentucky, but we're getting there. Andrew Carr and guys like that, but we will get to them soon enough. Check out all the baseball, football content as well. And we appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll talk to you again here soon at Southeastern 14.